hey, 24 hours of Le Mans, let's do 24 hours of Lemons. We'll do a race series for $500 cars.
It's a dumb race for dumb people, don't do it.
We started as a way to make a car event that you couldn't just spend your way out of.
Lemons is there to get seat time as affordably as possible with the least amount of stress as possible.
I've taken a beautiful thing and made it less beautiful. It was the weather. It's a fight club kind of a thing. You can't be too pretty.
It's officially Lemons quality now. There we go, we're ready.
We're ready to go!
Woo! A little sideways shift on the whole thing. Otherwise, yeah, should be drivable.
You know, road racing is kind of like this, always been this exclusive club kind of thing. This is really for people who are into cars and want to come race, and they've always seen that there's just these big obstacles in the past. So it's for everybody to come race, really. It's supposed to bring racing back to everyone.
When I was actually reading Johnny on an earlier website before he joined Motor Trend.
Before Motor Trend, I was known as Judge Johnny.
The shenanigans were great.
And the story goes, they were drunk and eating bad Chinese food.
Anything that won't pass California smog is a $500 car.
Jay, well, all his friends were automotive journalists because he used to be an automotive journalist, so the only people he could invite worked at like Motor Trend and Car and Driver and Road and Track and all those kind of publications. So they all came and did it and wrote about it and took off, and the rest is history.
24 Hours of Lemons started as a 24-hour race, so it's an endurance race, which a lot of these cars just can't complete. A lot of cars can't. They kind of in the later years, it turned into basically it's 2 8-hour races.
But the whole point of this event is to make you get off your ass and do something.
So I asked Jay if I could be a judge.
What we call the BS judges.
I am the BS judge, so I'm here to adjudicate how much bullshit people are spewing at me about their car preparation. I'm going to renege. And I'm going to give you a couple penalty laps just because these are reliable.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, your job is just to make sure everybody's bullshitting you in the right ways. Because everybody bullshits. That's the whole point of racing, because everybody cheats. You just kind of look and see if they, swapped out head gaskets. Usually you can kind of tell that thing. Sometimes people add weird stuff or swap in motors. Usually you're kind of looking at suspension because that's the kind of stuff that matters for road racing. Impreza wagons are right. It's a little stiff, like they cut the springs. Yeah,
It's popped up. They put some thicker springs in there.
so you can just do the basic push on the car, and if it bounces a bit, it's probably stock-ish, and then you kind of take a peek. And usually it looks nice and crusty and old, and that they haven't cheated it up too badly. So
All racing is about setting up artificial rules and trying to break the artificial rule.
And take safety gear seriously. Like, I know this is a low buck race, but actually spend money in a good fire suit, good helmet. As cheap as this is, your life is worth more than that race car.
Yeah, so there's two kind of parts of this. There's the tech inspection, which Dale over there is doing, where he goes over your car, make sure it's safe.
Running antifreeze? Good. We're all good there.
Did you get BS? You didn't get BS. You're about to walk away without talking to me.
I thought that's what y'all were doing.
No. Tech inspections where you don't bullshit. Then you talk to me and you only bullshit. And then after that, they come and talk to me about whether or not they spent more than $500 or I think they have. You sign them penalty laps. So, if they've spent $50 over $500, as I figure it, they'll start with 5 penalty laps. So, in the end, nobody really cares that much because, if you're trying to win a Lemons race, you're kind of barking up the wrong tree anyway.
Half the people are just out of their minds to win, and the other half have never been on a racetrack.
It's all part of the pomp and circumstance, so to speak.
The pomp and theatrics of the whole thing.
Most of the cars are required to have a theme. So you have guys like the Cajun Jihads who show up with burlap sacks and spray painted AK-47 wielding crawfish and other goofy ideas.
Is that racist?
Only if you think about it too much.
If you're clever and if you work at it, you can find $500 cars all day long. They're not going to be on your block. They're not going to be in the newspaper. But the whole point of this event is to make you get off your ass and do something.
Our big innovation, my contribution, our contribution to Lemons was we were going to be corrupt judges.
And we needed a good place for Nancy to ride.
Yeah, no, I do appreciate the theme. It's really good. So where'd you get the car?
Charleston, South Carolina.
You got any kind of like Craigslist ad or anything?
From a tow yard.
You got from a tow yard?
Yeah.
So you don't have a receipt for that or anything?
I don't. Yeah, that's it. We can give you the phone number to the tow yard that we bought it from.
Well, that's a you problem and not a me problem.
And I don't think I ever brought a vehicle that needed a bribe.
Here's the receipt.
All right, let's see what we got here. So occasionally teams like to grease the wheels of justice. We're not above taking bribes, obviously, so it's a pretty good bribe.
Yeah, nice.
I might be able to consider this a $500 car.
It's 225,000 miles.
We watched a group take I think it was an old Crown Vic and put a lemonade stand on it. It made us catch an eye, so we decided, we're like, well, let's see what it's all about. We found a car, and I think if we can just finish it, that'll be the ultimate goal.
But we actually had a bribe jar, literally labeled bribes, and the idea would just be like, because we're judging in South Carolina, so we're going to be these like, corrupt Southern judges. That, like I said, that tradition carries on to this day.
Yeah. It's very unimpressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's
the highest of compliments.
We're used to that.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what my wife says.
Yeah. You're disguising a German car as an American car and giving me Dutch beer instead of German beer.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
It's American beer.
American beer. Plaster cast intake is still original, like 5 years later. But you want the car to last more than you want it to be fast. And fuel efficiency actually matters in endurance racing if you're trying to win also. So a small four-cylinder that makes 130 horsepower is kind of in the sweet spot. The template for how to do Lemons correctly.
We finally figured it out.
Yeah.
6 tries.
It's really hard to tell, but this is actually a Nissan 200 SX, which is like a Nissan Sentra, like a two-door. And they put a Triumph TR7, I think, front on it. And then
wheel wells to get it to line.
And they cut the wheel wells. It's magnificently done. Looks like a really terrible Ferrari 308.
What are you saying?
So, believe it or not, this car is actually a Geo Metro. It's got a Mercedes hood and everything on it. The engine's in the back. It's a Ford V6 out of like a Contour. The cars brake a lot, so the tow trucks usually want to hook everything up quickly so we can clear the track. So you got to kind of label it so they know where to hook on. And there's a big eye bolt down here. Just put it in there.
Towed, is it damaged?
Usually something just stops working, and that runs the range from like a connector came unplugged to there's a giant hole in the engine block. And I think most teams probably can fix their stuff and get it back out on after they've been towed in. And it's probably 60 or 70% of cars finish the race that start it, which is a lot more than you'd think for as wrecked as so many of these cars when they get bought the first time.
Boy, at the end of the day, you are talking about racing $500 cars. I mean, no matter what you do and no matter how hard you try, that's just an inherently bad idea. We get a fair number of entries from guys that just say, we are 5 guys who want to come race. Well, duh. So what? Then we get some entries from people who say things like, we are 5 graduates of clown college. This is absolutely true. And if you pick us, we will do the entire event in the car and out of the car in full clown makeup. Well, they're in. There's no question.
So a lot of the people over here in the crew are special ops military guys.
There was a Navy SEAL team that was trying to do an insertion, and one of the guys fell off the helicopter. They called it QRF, which is a quick reaction force. And I was in Ranger Regiment at the time. We were called, it's kind of like, to explain it to people, it'd be like 911, emergency call. Hey, we're in trouble, come help. We got called in to go do that. And we thought we were going to get one guy there was more than one guy there. 18 hours later, we came off of an 11,000 foot mountaintop in Afghanistan with 7 killed in action.
I was in the Army for 4 years active and 4 reserve.
The 67 Mustang we bought, we really just needed it for a title. It was so bad we almost scrapped it, and then we decided let's just make a Lemons car out of it. So we ended up buying a nice Meyer suspension, has a good road race suspension under it. Did a 347 motor, a T101 trans, Ford 9-inch, true track, full race package, fuel cell. We made it turn into a test car to really test our suspension parts for what we build it on our street cars that we built at the shop. Then after we ran that car a few races, we decided we wanted to do a 4-cylinder for better fuel economy and we could do more laps. So we built the 86 Fox body we have with us. We decided we had a 2.3 out of a 93 model to go in it. And then we found an EcoBoost out of a 16 Mustang. So we did the EcoBoost with a T5 and brought it here for the Laps of Honor to make some laps, try to get some money for those guys.
Who's in charge of this piece of crap? This guy?
I know nothing about it. What's allowed and what's not.
We're starting out on the wrong foot because we don't have our checklist with us.
You don't have a tech sheet?
No, sir.
I just bought the car.
And that's his fault too. Do you have 2 of them by chance?
And look at this line. I'm busy, 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 and you guys are screwing around because you don't have a tech sheet. If you would, fill this all out, initial all of this. Okay, could I have a driver in there?
You fill the sheet up, Tim.
Crank her up and show me some brakes. Well, jack it up a bit and hit your kill switch. Okay. Yep, come on out. Any particular reason why you painted it red?
That's the way we bought it. It was cheaper.
Who cleaned it?
I did.
Nice job.
Right after I bought it.
Well done.
Thanks.
Couldn't afford a hinge?
They ask a question, I'll give them an answer, and that was just, so I told the guys, like, yeah, I just bought the car. I don't know a lot about it, but if you have a question, I'll work with you on it. So.
Did I get one of these yet? Race starts tomorrow. I'd tech it if I had a sheet. If I had a tech sheet, I'd probably tech the car.
He's almost done. Look, faster.
Sign that. Thank you. About time. Now I can get to work. Do you have the same number on both sides of the car? Now see, that's a good looking race car. Oh, Jesus.
I'm trying to get ahead on this car.
Yeah, on the Lemons website, it explains all this stuff you're supposed to have ready, by the way.
I remembered it when we were getting ready to come here.
Yeah, okay, fine.
This is a hinge? There's no way that's going to go badly. I'm going to go ahead and guess that it's not just the stock 5-liter.
Yeah, we downsized. It's not a 5.0 anymore.
2 Mustangs.
Oh, yeah.
What, the right way to do a Mustang and the wrong way.
Hey.
Is this Coyote motor?
Yes, half of it.
Half of it? What do you mean half of it?
EcoBoost, the 2.3.
Is it really?
Yes.
Jesus. This is the most overkill we've seen in a long time. Yeah. This is easily the newest motor we've ever had. So what made you decide to put this in a Lemons car? I got to ask about the motivations here.
Well, the car's more for the Laps of Honor. We're doing Laps of Honor. So
yeah.
We wanted it to last. Didn't want it to fall apart.
U.S. Veterans Corps is, they actually gave me a home, so one of the things they do is give homes to combat and injured veterans.
It was going to cost us more money to put the old 2.3 in than this. So we said...
I don't believe that for a second.
What the hell do you do with that?
So what have you done besides just put this in here? Because I know you wouldn't just leave the engine alone, right?
That's it.
No?
We put new plugs in it, and we put a catch can on it.
So it's running a 6-speed with this?
No, it's just a T5.
All right, well, let me ask you this before I start throwing thousands of penalty laps at you. What is your guys' kind of plan with the charity?
We were the number 17 home that they've given away. We moved in July in Raleigh, and since then I think they've given away 2 more already.
Since it's wet, we really can't use the powder, so we should get no penalty laps at this point.
I appreciate your optimism on this. I don't think it's going to quite play out that way.
This is not the motor you're concerned with.
Yeah,
this is not
it's the one over there, right? That's
what?
All right, you guys are doing the oldest trick in the racing book, by the way, which is bring the car to distract us from the one you really want to cheat with. We know this game. We play this game ourselves. All right, well, I will give you some penalty laps just because we need to give some. It'll be like 50. 50. Oh, all right.
Meet in the middle, 25.
We can do 25. I'll do 25. Even though.
Hey, 50. Hey, I was thinking 100.
So we're going to be a little more lenient on you than we normally would, because this would
very kind of you.
This would normally be like
Good, sir.
3,000 penalty laps or something like that.
3,000. That's like 12 races.
Yeah, not my. That's a you problem. That's not a me problem. The problem being that like you're trying to do this for charity. You're not trying to be super competitive.
Yeah.
So we're not going to hammer you too bad.
Yeah. We've never won anything in our lives.
You have your text sheet. I'll slap your penalty laps on there, and then we'll look at the other one, and we'll give you some laps for that too.
Oh no, that was green. No.
Do you want this car tech today?
I would like it to get tech today, sir.
Okay, could you please pull it forward? Heads up, everybody, race car coming through. Rev it up, yeah. Wow, that makes a lot of noise.
You looking for rust?
For a team like yours, I find a lot of brown stains on the seats.
Would you like to check the inside of my suit?
No, I'll leave that for the medical personnel after your incident. Most people make ones look like a 1 rather than like a 7, but that's okay. Service were you in?
I was in Rangers, Army Rangers.
Army? I was a 76 Papa 20.
Okay. I have no clue what that is.
Clerk.
Everyone needs them.
Call ourselves 101st Chairborne. Check.
We have 2 pretty much fully prepped race cars in a sea of crap cans, they call them. So we're kind of over our limit here, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and just got to keep it out of the wall with all this rain. We're not here to win. We're here to have a good time and complete as many laps as we can for charity. This is kind of a dangerous track in the rain, so I'm A, looking forward to it, and B, not looking forward to it.
It's a little rainy, a little wet out, but most people are being pretty well behaved, so haven't been too bad. It's going to get worse and worse as the day goes on. Visibility will become an issue.
One, you can start with the weather. Does it suck? Yeah. Can you sleep outside in this for a week? Yes, you can. It's take what you have and make the best of it.
Turn 11 at the top of the hill here is pretty scary. The scariest turn for me, especially in the rain, is right here. Turn 12 leading onto the front straight, because when you're coming down here, you're about the top of 3rd gear and on it, and that wall is really close, as you can see right there. So probably a lot of guys are going to crash in this corner right here. So that's the only corner that scares me on this track. And with the rain, we're just going to have to go slow and ease up on it.
There's some guys that are definitely experienced. I think one of the guys a couple trailers down, he said he's been coming for 7 years. So the good thing is everybody, even though they're fast and they're cruising out there, they seem to be kind of a similar group of people that, you know, wants to help the newer drivers and everything.
We brought in Emily Campagna from Fox News So this will actually be on Fox and Friends eventually. They're over there shooting in the pits right now for that.
As you can see, it's raining and I'm a little nervous, but I'm honored. One of the guys said it's the most relaxed you'll ever be, and he's kind of right, because all you do is focus on driving. For me, it's the best of all worlds because it's casual and it's fun and it's lighthearted, but it means something, it means a great deal to a lot of people who need it. This is my first big race being involved in as a driver, but now, as everyone predicted, I am hooked. I'm kind of excited to swim my way around the track.
Just in time for the sexy car wash. These guys with the Volkswagen have clearly gotten themselves into a bit of trouble. To get themselves back into our good graces, they are doing a sexy car wash.
So that if you are trying to be serious about racing, you try to stay out of trouble, because you know you're going to get something really dumb to do for a long period of time.
Blind man Kane. And if you're really unlucky, you're going to spin this wheel and you're going to come up chin music. What we have here are auto reverse cassette players. They will be zip tied into your car where you cannot get them.
Other things they do is like the Bart Simpson, where you have to write your penalty 100 times on the fender of the car.
It used to be pretty intense, and we kind of did some like gross out, like, you know, make people do the cinnamon challenge with like a scoop of cinnamon. We decided like making people sick was probably a little beyond the pale. So mostly we just try and embarrass people a little bit. They spun 4 times today, which is a lot. So, you know, it kind of accrues. The more penalties, the more black flags you get, the more severe and embarrassing the penalty is. Normally we make people like get most of the way naked and do it, and it's in the summer and it's not 40 degrees, but we don't want to give anybody hypothermia, so.
Absolute riot. Absolute riot. You got guys being really aggressive and guys being really passive. A little bit of everything out there, and it's a lot of fun in the rain with that car especially. Just the problem was the windshield would fog up, then about 3 laps, and I couldn't see anything. Unless the guy was on the brakes and his brake lights were on in front of me, I couldn't see him. I almost piled into about 4 cars out there, so I had to come in, defrost the windshield again, try to go out, get about 2 laps, and then we were done. So they're trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, the water's coming inside the car, and it's standing in the floor pans, the water is. So then when the motor's running, it's heating the floor pan up like a pot, like if you have a pot sitting on the stove, and it makes steam just like you're boiling water. And that's going on the front windshield.
I think some moisture was coming up from water collecting the floor, but it didn't seem to help. We spit on the windshield like you do in goggles, underwater goggles. Sort of worked a little bit. They put Rain-X on it. Didn't really work that well. So basically you get about 3 laps, got to come in, defrost the windshield, go out and get another 2 or 3. But it's an absolute riot. It's so much fun out there, especially in the rain. I think I passed like 4 guys in my scariest corner here because they were just off the throttle. It was a lot of fun.
Right, so a few of my favorites have been the pink Volvo that literally drives 5 miles an hour on the track and it has that drag queen sticker on the side. The one that has fur all over it with a tail and it's a dog, and that broke down on the track. And then there's that weird BMW. Like, I honestly don't know what it's trying to be, but it's all silver and it almost looks like a water faucet. And that's the one that spun out, and that was our last black flag yesterday, was that guy.
So I've seen them flying out there. They've got a surfboard.
A little cold, a little wet. He came in a little earlier. He said the oil pressure was acting up a little bit, but checked the oil and seems to be fine now. So he spun out right here in the front straight, probably doing about 60 miles an hour, came backwards down the front straight, and spun it back around, came back around, so we should be good now.
Well, it's all a wrap here. It's really crappy weather. It's getting cold and it's going to be icy, so we're pretty much done for the weekend. Emily, what do you think of your first road race in the rain at the most dangerous track in the country?
It was awesome. Piece of cake. I mean, I was the slowest on the track. I'm not gonna lie. But you know what? It was steady. I had a blast, and I
I guess that's a wrap here at Road Atlanta. Thanks, guys.
After all that, these guys showed up with an EcoBoost turbo Mustang with like a $15,000 engine in it. It rained the entire time.